What's up, everybody? Thanks for clicking on the video. Welcome back. Wanted to go ahead and make another quick video while I let you guys look at the tank here. Did some glass cleaning on it. That back glass got scraped okay. It was kind of tough to do. Actually broke off a little piece of razor blade in here. Couldn't find it. We'll see how that affects the tank in the future. Hopefully not too badly. But it was pretty cool when I scraped the back glass. The water started looking weird, started looking red, and I tried to take a video. I might post it. You can't really tell too much, but the water got super pink. I've never seen that before. I guess all the coralline algae that I was scraping off was just getting into the water and turned it really, really pink to the eye. But anyway, I wanted to kind of address a couple comments on the last video. So the first comment was, don't do a water change if you've already got low nitrate and phosphate. And that makes sense. I mean, for a long time, people have struggled to keep, nitrate and phosphate low. And one of the main ways to correct it is to do, a sizable water change or multiple smaller water changes. And that's just how a lot of us have thought about water changes. Now, when you have an ultra low nutrient system, you're not doing water changes to take out, nitrate and phosphate, and technically, water changes aren't completely necessary. But, yes, you can add, trace elements and all these different, supplements from Red Sea and Tropic Marin, and I have some of those. And you can also, do Triton testing, and there's a couple other ICP tests that you can get done, and they tell you, to buy their product, and they tell you how much of it to dose, but it's expensive. I've got some of Triton products, and it's like $32 for a 100 milliliter bottle of one element, and with a 350 gallon system, that gets expensive. So my point is that sometimes, and a lot of people don't think about them this way, but when you do a water change, you're also adding stuff, and you're adding stuff in a good ratio of your seawater. And yeah, a 10% water change isn't going to add a whole lot back, but it's doing something. So if an element like boron or potassium or iodine or anything like that is getting depleted, you do a sizable water change and you at least bring it back up some. So that's more what I'm doing water changes for, is to kind of try to get those ratios back in check, without spending $50 to get an ICP test and then having to add, those elements back, which are expensive also, or B, what a lot of people do is, blindly dose, like trace elements, like something like Red Sea or Tropic Marin, where, they say how big your tank is, or you tell them how big your tank is in the calculator, and they tell you to dose this much a day. Well, those elements aren't all being taken up in the same ratios, and every tank is different. So you hear a lot, don't dose what you can't test for. So that's why blindly dosing trace elements worries me a little bit, because worst case, you're overdosing something, and there's stuff like zinc and copper, and nickel in those trace elements, and you can definitely overdose them if you're not testing for them. You don't know what the levels are. So in my opinion, the safest way to do that would be regular water changes, and that still isn't enough to keep up with the load, especially I guess with an ultra low nutrient system. Stuff like potassium gets taken up faster than it normally would. Most people probably don't have to dose potassium, but my potassium gets depleted pretty quick. I mean, it went down 10 parts per million in like a week or two. So so that was the first thing. And then the other comment was like, why the heck does anybody run chaeto or grow chaeto when they have low nutrients? And like I replied to the comment, I even had problems while growing chaeto. I had an algae problem, turf algae started, and I had a lot of corals die just because I wasn't testing regularly, and I was dosing a high nutrient food, HPD, which, when you don't have a problem with nutrients, it's great. It helps me keep my phosphates up. If I test and my phosphates are, under 0.03, I'll go ahead and feed some HPD. The fish love it. Hopefully the corals and stuff eat it. It's also got reef chili in it and some nori. So it's a great food, but if you overdo it, your nutrients can climb extremely fast. And that's what happened to me. And I lost a lot of SPS corals, had the algae problem, that I had to fix. So it's more, I have low nutrients because I run chaeto, rather than I'm running chaeto and I have low nutrients. But yes, I am having to add nitrate back into the system because it gets taken up fairly quickly. But it's not very expensive if you know where to get the sodium nitrate from. It's pretty cheap, pretty easy to do the calculations and everything. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's my point. Times have kind of changed. All this really good filtration, roller mat, takes up most of the food and waste before it even has time to break down into nitrites and into nitrates, and then what waste does stay in the tank or get past the filter roller can get taken up by the skimmer and the chaeto. So that's why I have so much filtration, which may not be completely necessary, being that I'm having to add stuff back in. But that's pretty much it. That's the point of the video. I appreciate all the views. Of course, like everybody says, 95% of the people watching my videos aren't subscribed. So all you got to do is click that subscribe button. You can not watch the videos if you're subscribed, or you can unsubscribe if you don't like the videos. Anyway, guys, take it easy. If you have any other comments, any questions, like I said, I'm not an expert. I've been doing it for, I don't know, 6-7 years now or something. And I like to do research. But don't completely take my advice. Don't completely take anybody's advice. Do research for yourself from multiple sources and decide for yourself. All right, thanks for watching, guys.